Imagine this. A brilliant, world-renowned leader passes away. What happens next?
Mhm.
Do their followers come together, united in remembrance, strengthening the bonds of their shared vision?
Or maybe do their ranks splinter into chaos, bitter arguments, and, well, outright disillusionment?
It's a question that has echoed through history, hasn't it?
It really has. The true test of any legacy, any movement, often begins precisely when the founder is no longer there to guide it directly.
Absolutely. And today we're taking a deep dive into an ancient text that gives us a remarkable front row seat to just such a moment,
Right. It's called the Pāsādikasuttaṃ.
which translates to the delightful discourse.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission today is to uncover the Buddha's surprisingly pragmatic and insightful criteria for evaluating not just a teaching, but also the teacher who imparts it.
And crucially, the community that carries it forward. It's
Yeah.
really about the whole package.
Exactly. You'll gain new perspectives on discernment, community, and the true purpose of spiritual practice that stretch far beyond ancient wisdom. Let's jump in.
Okay, so our deep dive opens in the tranquil Sakya region where the Buddha is residing.
Peaceful setting.
But the calm is soon interrupted by news carried by a young novice monk named Kunda from the town of Pava.
Yeah, and this news, arriving from Pava, it becomes the direct catalyst for this entire discourse. Kunda reports the recent death of Nigantha Nayaputta,
A very prominent leader of the Nigathas.
a group often identified with the Jains, a big figure.
Right. So you'd expect such a monumental passing to perhaps bring a period of solemn unity or, at least quiet reflection among his followers.
That's not what Kunda reports at all.
No. What Kunze describes is starkly different. Now, Buddha's death didn't bring peace. It brought utter disunity.
Yeah, his followers were divided, split, engaging in quarrels, disputes, arguing with sharp words.
It sounds like an absolute breakdown. It truly was. And it wasn't just internal strife among his direct disciples either.
Oh.
Even the lay followers, described as white-clad, grew disillusioned and averse.
Wow.
And Kunda's description of Nayaputta's teaching is quite damning, actually. He calls it badly proclaimed, badly expounded.
Not leading to liberation, not conducive to peace.
Not proclaimed by a rightly self-awakened one, broken down, without refuge. I mean, that's harsh.
It really is. And the Buddha, observing this disarray, he confirms Kunda's observations, right?
He does. He basically says that such division and dissolution is precisely what happens with a badly proclaimed and expounded Dhamma.
Dhamma meaning the teaching or the discipline itself.
Exactly. A teaching that lacks clarity or, true transformative power.
So it's a very clear warning sign that something wasn't truly established.
Absolutely.
Now, to truly understand what makes a teaching stable and enduring, the Buddha lays out an incredibly insightful four-part framework. He invites us to evaluate any spiritual path based on three key elements: the teacher, the Dhamma, the teaching itself, and the follower's practice.
It's a complete ecosystem. And this framework is remarkable because it encourages a holistic discernment.
Right.
It's not just about what's being said, but who's saying it, and crucially, how one truly engages with it.
So it invites you, the listener, to critically assess the information you consume in your own life.
Absolutely.
So let's break down these scenarios. First, imagine a misguided path. The teacher isn't fully awakened,
Okay.
the Dhamma is badly expounded,
Flawed teaching.
and the follower is not practicing correctly. What's the Buddha's verdict here?
Okay, so in this case, both the teacher and the Dhamma are seen as blameworthy. Makes sense.
Right.
But here's the surprising twist.
Yeah.
The follower is actually praiseworthy
Praiseworthy. Why?
because they correctly perceive the flawed nature of the teaching and wisely avoid following it. They see it's not right for them.
Discernment.
Exactly. And the implication is profound. Encouraging such a follower to actually practice that flawed teaching would only lead to much demerit. It would actually be harmful.
That's fascinating. It really values individual discernment. Okay, what about scenario 2? This is where a follower diligently commits to a flawed path.
Right. So the teacher is still not fully awakened. The Dhamma is badly expounded.
Same problems there.
But this time, the follower is practicing correctly according to that flawed system. They're doing what they're told.
So they're diligent.
Very diligent. But here, the teacher and Dhamma remain blameworthy. And the crucial insight is that the follower is also blameworthy.
Even though they're practicing correctly?
Yes, for diligently committing to a path that isn't genuinely liberating. This isn't about laziness. It's about, misdirected effort.
Okay, I see.
So praising such a follower in this context would also lead to much demerit, because it reinforces a path that ultimately cannot lead to genuine freedom.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've seen how a flawed path plays out. But what about when the path itself is true, yet the follower struggles to embrace it? Let's explore scenario 3.
The true path, but a missed opportunity.
Exactly. The teacher is fully awakened, the Dhamma is well expounded,
The foundation is solid.
but the follower is not practicing correctly. Maybe they're lazy or distracted or just don't get it yet.
In this case, both the teacher and the Dhamma are praiseworthy. I mean, the teaching is good, the source is good.
Right.
The downside, though, is that the follower is blameworthy for not embracing and living by such a beneficial teaching. It's a wasted opportunity.
But encouraging this follower.
Yes. Encouraging this follower to practice does lead to much merit because the foundation, the path itself, is sound and transformative if engaged with correctly. There's potential there.
Okay. And finally, the ideal alignment, scenario 4.
The sweet spot.
The teacher is fully awakened, the Dhamma is well expounded, and the follower is practicing correctly. This sounds like the perfect trifecta.
It is. This is where all three, the teacher, the Dhamma, and the follower, are praiseworthy. Everyone's aligned, everything's working.
And praising this follower
leads to much merit. Absolutely. This framework, you see, it isn't just about ancient spiritual systems.
No, it feels very relevant.
It's a blueprint for how you can discern any information or philosophy you encounter. Are you critically examining the source, the message itself, and importantly, your own level of engagement with it?
It's a powerful tool for intellectual and, well, personal integrity. It really reframes how we think about following anything, doesn't it?
It does.
It places a huge emphasis on the quality of the teaching and the quality of our engagement with it.
Exactly.
And speaking of quality, the Pāsādikasuttaṃ goes beyond just the individual teacher. The Buddha explains that a fully awakened teacher's passing is considered lamentable
if their teaching hasn't been fully understood, revealed, and widely propagated by their disciples, if it hasn't really taken root in the community.
Okay, so it's not lamentable.
It's not lamentable. If the teaching has been clearly comprehended, made open, widely accepted, capable of demonstration, and well proclaimed among gods and humans.
So the responsibility shifts.
Precisely. It shifts the responsibility for the endurance of a teaching from the individual founder to the collective community. It's a profound lesson in succession and, you could say, institutionalizing wisdom.
So what does a truly complete holy life or brahmacharya look like to the Buddha? He lays out 4 critical pillars that ensure a spiritual practice can truly endure even after the founder is gone.
Yeah, this is key for longevity. The first pillar is having an experienced teacher.
Meaning?
Someone who is old, long ordained, having passed through the path, having reached the end of life.
So real lived experience.
Deep wisdom, practical experience over time, not just theoretical knowledge.
Okay, pillar 1, experienced teacher. What's 2?
Pillar 2, competent senior disciples. These aren't just any followers. They must be skilled, disciplined, confident, accomplished in what should be done, capable of explaining the good Dhamma and refuting opposing views with the Dhamma.
So they're like the intellectual and spiritual torchbearers.
You could say that. Able to articulate, defend, and further the teaching with clarity. Absolutely essential.
Makes sense. Pillar 3.
Pillar 3 is a comprehensive community. This means the tradition isn't just limited to an inner circle, like just the monks.
Broader reach.
Exactly. It must include middle and new monks, senior, middle, and new nuns, and lay male and female disciples.
Lay followers too.
Yes, both those living a celibate life and those who are householders enjoying sensual pleasures. This ensures broad adoption and diverse support.
Allowing the teaching to resonate across different lifestyles and levels of commitment.
Precisely. It makes it robust.
Okay, and the final pillar, number 4.
Pillar 4 is a flourishing and widespread teaching. The holy life itself must be prosperous, flourishing, widely spread, well-known, broadcast among many.
So it needs reach and recognition.
And well-proclaimed among gods and humans, having attained high gain and fame. It needs to be demonstrably successful and respected.
Right. The takeaway here seems profound. A truly enduring teaching isn't just about a set of rules or dogmas.
Not at all. It's about a living, adaptable tradition and a community diverse enough to sustain and transmit its core wisdom effectively.
You know, you think about any significant movement or organization today, a thriving company, a political campaign, even a strong family tradition. Without that adaptability, skilled leadership beyond the founder, and a diverse, committed community, how truly can it last beyond its initial spark?
That's the question, isn't it?
And here's where the Buddha makes a remarkably confident declaration. He states that he fulfills all these criteria.
He does. He says his Dhamma is well expounded, his followers have understood and propagated it, and he himself is an experienced teacher. All four pillars are in place.
It's a very bold claim of, well, unmatched influence.
It is. He proclaims that among all teachers in all spiritual communities in the world, none have attained the same level of gain and fame as him in his community of monks and nuns.
Is that arrogance? Or,
I think it's presented more as a statement of conviction. Conviction in the completeness and transformative power of his path, which he felt was clearly demonstrated by its reach and impact.
okay. He then brings up a critique of another ascetic, Uddaka Ramaputta, who spoke of seeing but not seeing.
Right. Uddaka explained this as seeing the blade of a razor, but not its sharp edge. Kind of a subtle point.
But the Buddha dismisses this.
He does. He calls it low, vulgar, worldly, ignoble, not connected with benefit. Pretty dismissive.
So what's his take on seeing but not seeing?
Instead, the Buddha redefines it. He says, seeing but not seeing is failing to grasp the completeness and perfection of the well-proclaimed holy life.
Missing the big picture.
Exactly. Missing the forest for the trees, getting caught up in superficial details or maybe intellectual abstractions, rather than the profound, liberating truth the teaching actually points to. It's a warning against, superficial understanding.
Got it. And on the topic of preserving the Dhamma, the teaching, the Buddha emphasizes something absolutely crucial for its endurance.
Yes. His followers must come together to recite, deliberate, and review the teaching.
Why is that collaboration so vital?
They need to agree on both its meaning and wording. It's about ensuring consistency and clarity.
So the teaching endures.
Endures for the welfare and happiness of many, out of compassion for the world, for the good, benefit, and happiness of gods and humans. It preserves the integrity of the path.
And he even names specific core teachings for this preservation.
He does. Things like the 4 foundations of mindfulness, the 4 right exertions, the 4 bases of power, the 5 faculties, 5 powers, 7 factors of awakening, and of course the Noble Eightfold Path.
The greatest hits, basically.
You could say that. The fundamental principles that must be maintained collectively to prevent the kind of disunity he saw in Nabhaputta's community after his death.
But what happens when practitioners disagree about the Dhamma? Which must happen, right?
Inevitably. And the Buddha provides an incredibly practical guide for how to navigate differing interpretations. It's truly a masterclass in dialogue and respectful collaboration.
How so?
Well, he outlines 4 scenarios for handling misinterpretations of meaning or words. For instance, if someone has both misunderstood the meaning and misstated the words.
So they're wrong on both counts.
Right. You don't immediately praise or reject them. No shutting them down.
Okay. So what do you do?
Instead, you gently inquire about the most appropriate meaning for the words they used, and vice versa, what words would fit the meaning they intended. You guide them towards clarity with patience.
Wow. So no immediate judgment. And if the meaning is misunderstood, but the words they use are actually correct?
Same principle. Don't praise or reject. Gently guide them towards the correct meaning for those words. Help them connect the dots properly.
In the reverse. If the meaning is correct, they get the idea, but the words are misstated.
Again, gently guide them towards the most appropriate words for the meaning they're trying to express. It sounds like a constant dance of clarification, doesn't it?
It really does. It's all about gentle correction and mutual understanding.
Prioritizing the truth of the teaching over, perhaps, individual ego. But if both the meaning and the words are correct,
The ideal scenario in a discussion.
that's when you express deep joy and praise. You acknowledge the great fortune of having such a knowledgeable co-practitioner to discuss things with.
This isn't just about ancient religious texts, is it?
Not at all. It's a powerful blueprint for effective communication, collaboration, and respectful disagreement in any group striving for a shared understanding.
Whether it's a family, a professional team, a community organization.
Imagine how much more productive our online discussions, for example, would be if we applied this framework.
That's a truly powerful and practical takeaway. Wow. Okay, now let's clear the air on some common misconceptions the text addresses.
Right.
The Buddha talks about basic necessities for monastics, robes, alms food, lodging, medicine. How are these often viewed?
Well, they could be seen as indulgences, but the Buddha clarifies they are permitted not for indulgence, but for purely practical purposes,
Like
protection from the elements, heat, cold, insects, covering shame, basic sustenance to keep going. supporting the holy life itself, easing suffering from illness, and maintaining health and blamelessness.
So purely functional.
It's about practicality and enabling the spiritual path, not about comfort or luxury.
And this leads directly into dispelling the pleasure-seeking myth, right? Other ascetics might accuse Sakyan ascetics, the Buddhist followers, of being devoted to pleasure-seeking.
Exactly. And the Buddha then makes a critical distinction between what he calls low pleasure-seeking and noble pleasure-seeking.
Okay, what are the low ones?
The four low pleasure-seekings are practices that do not lead to liberation. These are things like killing, taking what is not given, stealing, basically speaking falsehood, and indulging in the 5 kinds of sensual pleasures.
So standard, unwholesome actions based on craving.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Clearly detrimental.
But then he defines 4 noble pleasure-seekings. These do lead towards liberation.
Yes, they lead to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, peace, direct knowledge, full awakening, and nibbana. So the ultimate goal.
And what are these noble pleasures?
They're described as the 4 jhanas. These are profound states of deep meditative absorption. Think of them as different levels of mental clarity, calm, and focus.
So meditative states.
Yes, they involve a gradual process of seclusion from unwholesome states, cultivating first joy, then a deeper happiness, then equanimity, and finally pure mindfulness. It's an inner cultivation.
And the fruits, the results of engaging in these noble pleasure-seekings.
They are profound. They lead to 4 distinct stages of awakening for the practitioner. First, the stream enterer.
Who has firmly embarked on the path.
Right. Then the once returner, who will return to this world just one more time. Then the non-returner.
Who achieves liberation in a higher realm, not coming back here.
Correct. And finally, the arahant, one who has destroyed all defilements and is fully liberated in this very life.
The ultimate freedom from suffering.
That's the goal.
And he also directly addresses the accusation of having unestablished Dhamma, meaning a teaching that isn't firm or reliable.
Yes, he counters that.
Oh.
The Buddha explains that his teaching, for those who truly embody it, who really live it, is not to be transgressed for life. It's like an unshakable iron pillar.
And he gives examples.
He highlights the arahant, the fully liberated one,
Yeah.
who is described as incapable of intentionally committing 9 specific unwholesome acts. Such as taking life, stealing, engaging in sexual intercourse, intentionally lying, indulging in stored-up sensual pleasures like a householder might,
Okay.
or acting out of desire, hatred, delusion, or fear. These things become impossible for someone truly liberated.
So this section really helps you understand that genuine pleasure in this context isn't about fleeting indulgence.
Not at all. It's about profound inner peace and liberation that fundamentally transforms one's character and conduct. It shows the true, unshakable stability of the teaching when deeply practiced.
Now, in examining the Buddha's wisdom as a measure of an enduring teaching, it's also crucial to understand not just what he taught, but why he chose to remain silent on certain questions.
Ah, yes, the undeclared points.
Right. So if he knows so much, why are there certain questions he leaves unanswered or undeclared? Like, for example, whether a Tathagata, another term for a Buddha, exists after death, does not exist, both, or neither.
These are the classic undeclared questions.
Mhm.
Metaphysical speculations, really. And the Buddha is very clear on his reason for silence.
Which is?
These questions are not connected with benefit, not connected with the Dhamma, not fundamental to the holy life.
Basically, they don't help you on the path.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not leading to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, peace, direct knowledge, full awakening, or nibbana. In essence, dwelling on them doesn't help you end suffering. It's a distraction.
Okay. In contrast, what is declared by the Buddha?
What is declared are the 4 noble truths. The truth of suffering, its origin, craving, its cessation, and the path to its cessation, the Eightfold Path.
The core teaching.
The absolute core. These are declared because they are directly connected with benefit, with the Dhamma, fundamental to the holy life, and they do lead to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, peace, direct knowledge, full awakening, and nibbana.
This is a crucial lesson, isn't it, about prioritizing knowledge?
Absolutely. It prompts you to ask, what questions truly serve my growth and well-being right now? And which might simply be intellectual distractions pulling me away from what truly matters for ending suffering.
A very practical focus. And building on that idea of distractions, the Buddha also details various views regarding the past. Yes, things like whether the self and the world are eternal or not eternal, whether they're self-made or made by another or just arose accidentally. Similar views on pleasure and pain, too. All sorts of philosophical positions that were common then.
And he covers future views, too.
He does. Views regarding the future, like whether the self has form after death, or is formless, or has perception, or is just annihilated completely.
And what's his stance on these views?
He states that those holding these views are otherwise perceiving. They're caught in limited perspectives. He himself, he says, possesses a higher discerning that transcends these speculative viewpoints.
So if these views are distracting and limited, what's the Buddha solution? How do you abandon them and gain true insight?
The solution he offers, the way to abandon and transcend all these speculative views, is the direct practice of the four foundations of mindfulness.
Back to the core practice.
Always back to practice. Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of the mind or consciousness, and mindfulness of mental phenomena or Dhamma.
And how should they be practiced?
They are to be practiced with ardent awareness, full comprehension, and mindfulness, having overcome covetousness and distress concerning the world. It's about seeing reality directly, here and now, which cuts through speculation.
That's the path to letting go of limiting views and experiencing reality directly.
That's the claim.
And as the discourse concludes, Ananda, who interestingly is referred to as Upava in the text's footnotes for this sutta,
Oh, right. A small textual note there.
he praises the discourse as delightful and supremely delightful.
He clearly found it very beneficial and clarifying.
And it's then that the Buddha names it Pāsādika.
The delightful. A fitting name given its aim is clarity and peace.
So today we saw how the initial chaos following a leader's death became really a springboard for the Buddha to outline a profound and practical wisdom.
A teaching moment born from discord.
We explored the multi-layered criteria for a truly enduring and beneficial teaching, looking at the quality of the teacher, the teaching itself,
The competence and breadth of the community.
and the practical, liberating results for the follower who actually practices correctly.
It's such a comprehensive framework for evaluating authenticity and effectiveness.
That really is, and not just in ancient spiritual traditions.
No, you could apply it to any system of thought, any organizational structure, any belief system we encounter today.
Precisely. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. In our own lives, surrounded by just an abundance of information and differing viewpoints,
So much noise sometimes.
how can we apply the Buddha's criteria? Not just to ancient texts, but to the ideas, the leaders, the communities we engage with every single day.
That's the real challenge. How can we become discerning practitioners of knowledge ourselves?
Ensuring what we absorb, what we commit our energy to, truly leads towards peace, clarity, and genuine benefit in our lives and the lives of others.
So a question worth sitting with.